You don't vote for them. You don't even see their names on ballots. Yet somehow they end up controlling your home, your job, your data, and sometimes even your politicians. They don't produce anything. They don't sell anything. They don't build factories. They simply move money. And somehow, that alone makes them more powerful than presidents. Because in modern America, money doesn't just speak, it governs. Welcome to the world where money, power, and history collide. Economics and history. Because here, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Most people have heard the word hedge fund, but very few actually know what it means. Even the name sounds strange, like something between a legal loophole and garden maintenance. But in reality, it represents one of the most powerful ideas in modern finance. A hedge fund is essentially a private investment club created for the wealthy. Imagine a massive pool of money collected from rich individuals, pension funds, and corporations. A small team manages this pool, and they have one simple goal: to make the highest possible profit using every method the law allows. Traditional investment funds have tons of rules: how much risk they can take, what they can invest in, what they must disclose. Everything is predetermined. It's like driving a car on a well-marked road. Hedge funds, on the other hand, they're completely off-road. They can accelerate however they want, take on enormous debt to make bigger bets, use complex derivatives, and even profit when markets crash. Derivatives may sound technical, but the idea is simple. You don't buy the actual thing. You bet on what its price will be in the future. Like gambling on whether it will rain, except with a lot more zeros involved. But hedge funds weren't always like this. They were created in 1949 by Alfred Winslow Jones, a calm sociologist. His only goal was to reduce risk. He bought some stocks and bet against the ones he thought would fall, creating a balanced portfolio. So the first hedge fund was actually a cautious, reasonable idea. But as time passed, that idea turned into something dangerous. Balance gave way to leverage, transparency to secrecy, caution to the pursuit of power. In the 1980s, rules in America began to loosen. The Reagan era, cheap borrowing, deregulation, the wild rise of Wall Street, it was the perfect stage for hedge funds to shine. They weren't banks, and they weren't public companies. So they weren't in plain view, yet they operated right at the center of the system. Many weren't even on regulators' radar. If a normal investor was playing chess, hedge funds were playing poker at a table no one knew existed, using other people's chips. By the 90s, their impact exploded. They weren't just buying stocks, they were attacking entire currencies. Like when Soros crushed the British pound in 1992. He made $1 billion in a week. One hedge fund beat an entire central bank. Then came a breaking point, LTCM. A fund created by Nobel Prize-winning economists, believed to be unbeatable, collapsed after a Russian crisis. Its losses were so massive that even the US Federal Reserve had to intervene. And hedge funds learned a crucial lesson that day. If you're big enough and connected enough, the system will save you. By the 2000s, hedge funds were no longer toys for the wealthy. They had become trillion-dollar institutions. They hired former government officials, donated to both political parties, and lobbied for laws that favored them. And with leverage and derivatives, the rocket fuel of finance, they grew even more. But who paid the price? Millions of people who lost their homes in 2008. Meanwhile, some hedge funds recorded the biggest profits in history. While banks were tightly regulated after 2008, hedge funds filled the vacuum. They built a new shadow system. They bought up houses, turned entire neighborhoods into portfolios, and let algorithms decide the rents. Now you don't have a landlord, you have an Excel spreadsheet. And it doesn't stop with housing. Energy, food, commodities, credit, currencies. There's not a sector hedge funds haven't touched. Sometimes they don't just profit from the future, they create it. When they take a massive position, markets move, prices change, even policies shift in response. Their political connections are also enormous. They donate to both parties, hire former ministers, attend private meetings. Those who write the rules often end up working at the companies that profit from those rules. It isn't illegal, it's just highly effective. And a huge part of their power comes from data. They buy satellite images, purchase shopping data, and use algorithms that analyze human behavior. They operate like a financial intelligence network. Some even call hedge funds the new intelligence agencies of capitalism. They don't need to control governments. Knowing what governments will do a few seconds early is enough. Their true power is invisible. They don't conquer land, they conquer liquidity. They don't plant flags, they influence interest rates. They don't invade countries, they buy their debt. So when people ask, who really runs America? The answer isn't in Congress or the White House. It's in the quiet offices of Greenwich, Connecticut. It's on the screens where nations' destinies shift before breakfast. Empires used to conquer land. Today they conquer markets. And history always shows the same thing. No empire built on leverage stays standing forever. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe to the channel. History carries the answers, and I'll show you exactly where to find them.